Sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. So strap yourselves in for the weekly live show that brings you toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions. Reveals, releases, thoughts, and maybe dreams. So prepare yourselves for the Geek Week in Review. Live.
We need to change that intro. The Geek Week in Review almost live if you're on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, you are waiting 10 minutes.
Just for argument's sake, right? We went live 10 minutes ago on TikTok, but not on everything else. Hello, welcome again to the Geek Week in Review, episode 133 with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. This week, we've got a very special guest, and we'll bring him in a second. Big Power Ranger fan. He's also one of the other guests at the Figure Collectors Con that we're going to be going to on the 30th of March. He's one of the other panel guests there. Me and Sorrell will be there. Lightning Collects will be there as well. We'll bring him in just a second. I do apologize to everybody that was kind of hanging on. We didn't go live. I say we, it's not a collective we. I didn't press the button. So anyway, right, without further ado, let's bring in our guest this week. It is Lightning Collector, aka Rob. Welcome to the Geek Week. How you doing?
I'm still being very tickled by this, so I'm all right.
Shelley in the comments. Let me see the cheek from this. Andy H put both have been in makeup, and that's why they're running late. And she's put, I think they should sack the stylist then. What?
Oh, wow, Shelley, you wait till you're our guest.
That couldn't eat, man. That hurts.
The sad thing is, or the funny thing is that this isn't even the first time that this mistake's happened. It seems like every time we simulcast over onto TikTok and to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, one of the buttons doesn't get hit, and we end up going live somewhere, but not somewhere else. So, yeah, here we are. So let's pretend that we haven't spoken for 5 minutes. How's everyone's week? How's it been? What's been going on? It's beginning of January. We were talking about this a minute ago. It's the beginning of January. January is always a slow time when it comes to geek stuff. In regards to, I'm just catching up with comments here. Like, Shelley, you're outnumbered here. Like, Legends of Cybertron said, like, that hurts. Andy H has said that that's the quickest burn ever. Yeah,
it literally did just need a little thing of it going burn in the corner, didn't it? From
you know what though? I'm with the Rocket Otter. How you doing, Rocket Otter? Good things come to those who wait. There we go. There we go. Yeah, excellent beard work, guys. Yeah, with three beards. I think I've got enough grey hairs for everyone though. So there we go. Here we go. There's a lot of people in the chat. We will get to you, whether you're over on TikTok, whether you're Instagram or Facebook, wherever you're watching, it doesn't matter. We have found that because we go out across different places, not everyone sees the comments coming on, depending on where you're watching it. So we will try our best to stay on top of the comments and kind of keep the conversation going where we need to. Whew. If you're watching for the first time, do go and give everyone.
Sorry, Apple Milk's comment, making episodes 30 minutes longer by starting half an hour late.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah, of course, because it's our first longer episode, isn't it?
It's meant to be, but nothing's happened this week to talk about.
No, it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. But we will try our best. If it's your first time watching, do check out the description of the video. Go give everybody a follow. Go and give people likes and shares and all that kind of stuff. It's all a community at the end of the day, so we appreciate everybody who clicks that button and kind of subscribes and follows and does all that kind of stuff. Sorrell, what have you been up to this week? I have no idea. It's as if we haven't spoken about this already.
I've never seen these before.
Well, I was just saying before, as we went live on, but not on here, that it's when do I never not go shopping? It's like Jacob said, have I picked anything up this week? Of course, I pick things up. I pick things up all the time. So I went to Smith's this week, and they had the next wave of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the new stylized Mutant Mayhem. So I had to pick up Beach Bum Mikey. Yeah, I'm going to Orlando at the end of the year, and you're telling me this guy's not coming in my suitcase? Look at that.
I can't
That's
believe
just
that
beautiful.
I can believe that the line has gone down that. Because for me, Turtles, when I was a kid, you know, when it was back in the day of collecting ones that look like this, right? I'm not going to lie, this isn't an 80s version. This is one that was released in 2022. But when they look like this, the cool thing was it was really hard to get your standard Turtles that kind of look like this. There were so many alternate outfits and kind of different things. So I'm really glad that the new line's kind of going down that route. It kind of gives me hope that it's going to kind of have a little bit of longevity.
Yeah, they've got the new Donnie as Spock, Beach Bum Mikey, Astronaut Raph, and Cowboy Leo. But the one thing that I was most excited about was the fact that the Turtle Tots are coming out, which is Leo and Donnie, and then Raph and Mikey in 2-packs, and the kind of like little baby versions of the Turtles.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing those on the shelf.
And I'm not going to tell you that I've already seen those because your look of surprise the first time round, you're not going to be able to replicate it. I'm really excited about those tots. I think I'll definitely pick those up to go with my Turtles collection.
But the other thing was Mondo Gecko, because I never had him as a kid. I never had a Mondo Gecko. I could never find him, so I had to get like the newest version of it. And I thought them two just look like they belong together on some photography, don't they? Some form of like beach photography.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be the two figures that I'll be carrying with me all summer long in my pocket, I'm sure.
You know, in my Turtles collection, I've got the NECA movie versions. I've got these guys to go in, the kind of retro, original looking ones. I've got the mini mates, and I wanted to get a line to go with a Mutant Mayhem, but I didn't kind of want to just go for the standard ones. So the fact that those tops are coming out, I think that's the Mutant Mayhem.
Like, little line you want.
I'm going to put in. Yeah, no, that's very cool. That is very cool.
And yeah, the other thing that I totally didn't show you a minute ago, so remember to be surprised, boys, was that the WWE have started bringing back some of the movie figures as a part of the Greatest Hits line. These originally came out in Walmart in America, and you didn't get them over here in the UK, so they're coming back as part of the Greatest Hits line. And sorry, I'll do what I did last time, just one more time for the impression here. It was Haku Ashante, The Rock as the Scorpion King.
That is a line that they have massively slept on. Like,
I can't believe it.
Massively slept on. Like they could have rolled out versions of The Rock in like all the different kind of costumes he wore, because there was about 3 or 4 costume changes, wasn't there?
Oh, you mean just sorry? I was getting excited then. I thought you meant a Rock movie line. You know, a daddy daycare figure, a Fast and Furious figure. I was getting well excited for a daddy daycare figure. I can't lie.
Yeah. that would be pretty cool though. Like a Rock movie line, maybe not daddy daycare, but there's enough. You know, there's enough stuff there.
But yeah, they've released. They've got this one.
Hang on a sec. Look, G Boats Collects has said the figure looks better than the movie's CGI.
Yeah, it looked. If you go back and watch that film, it does not hold up. Which is weird though, because the first film does. The CGI from the first movie still looks pretty decent. That second movie, when they tried to up the CGI a bit, it looks so bad.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, just going off on a bit of a tangent with CGI stuff. Like, I sat down and watched Daredevil the other day, like the old Ben Affleck one, and I remember really enjoying that at the time. I was kind of like, yeah, this is cool. This is going to be a good film. But the CGI in it is dated, like really dated. Like when they're like scaling parts of the church and that, it's like worse than computer games.
Mate, that was not a Daredevil movie. That was his audition tape for Batfleck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where he's in the corner of that room, they're like, "What are you here for, freak? Justice, Batman."
Shelley, I think she's being our friend again here. She's saying she also went to Smith's today, picked up the Rock and Spock Donatello. Oh, I wonder who I can blame those purchases on.
One thing that I was surprised at though, as a part of the movie line, they've put a secondary figure in this one, which was Rowdy Roddy Piper. But they haven't put, because like they've put The Rock as the Scorpion King, but they've just literally wrote Rowdy Roddy Piper. But that is definitely from They Live, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
that's the kick ass and chew bubble gum, but I'm all out of gum thing. But I think it's because NECA have the toy rights. So I think they can get away with it by saying it's a, Rowdy Roddy Piper figure, but if they say it's from They Live, then they have to pay royalties to someone else. I think that's what it is. I think it's Mattel trying to shirt around the issue.
Toy Scavenger in the chat straight away said Piper's a good figure for They Live, no IP for the name of that one. So yeah, basically yeah, pretty good.
I picked up some comics as well today, though. Sorry.
Aimed at Rob there. Rob unboxing his Power Ranger figures is his villain origin story. Making that one make sense to you there, Rob?
He's an inbox collector, and because I break everything out, he hates it.
Inbox collect. You've got to get them out. You've got to get them out. Yeah, I just can't. Shall I tell you that, like, no hate towards inbox collectors, each to their own. But when Hasbro did that whole kind of plastic-free packaging, like how there were still people collecting inbox there, like that's mad. That's madness. But
then again, if you think about it, toys from back in the 70s didn't have see-through covers on them. They were just cardboard boxes. Like a lot of the Star Trek stuff originally were just covers. Not.
But there was no risk back then as to what was inside. Like you look at them now, and half the contents is missing. So it's a bit risky.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, I did a bit of unboxing last night. I unboxed all my Masterverse figures.
Nice.
I followed your footsteps. I did a quick live and did it all live. And it was very easy to unbox like 10 figures on a live stream as opposed to sit there trying to do a whole bunch of.
Did you not prefer it though? Was it not better because then people could ask questions live and ask you stuff? Like I find that much more interactive.
To be honest with you, it wasn't as active as I thought it would be because reason being is I literally just went live. There was no build up to it or anything like that. It was one in ones where I was like, I've got a spare hour. I'm going to go and unbox some figures. And I thought, sod it. I'll whack the camera on. So there were people there. I was talking to a couple of people and it was all right, but I'm definitely going to do it that way, but just kind of plan it better. It was just a much more preferred way of doing it.
There you go, Andy Roberts, straight away. Chat for you.
Andy Roberts, really enjoyed that live last night, Jacob. Thanks very much, Andy. I enjoyed doing it. I tell you what, I missed having Sorrell though. It was weird talking on my own. I was kind of like, I'm going to do this. What do you think? Oh, Ash isn't here. I haven't got a friend. She's not here. Sean TM, do Hasbro still make Power Ranger figures? That's one for you, Rob.
Well, they have been and are. They've got nothing planned for this year coming up other than what we haven't been able to get here. Everything is out in the US. They've had everything that's been announced or leaked or whatever. They've had all their pre-orders and we've had pretty much nothing of the last two items. So we just don't know. They're planning so much with other companies, like you've got Super 7 and Mezco and even like McFarlane that's going to do stuff with it now. So the short answer is no one knows.
It's just the unknown.
Yeah.
Do you think for the page punches and stuff, do you think you'll grab those or?
I will probably grab them for the sake of grabbing them, in all honesty. Like now I'm trying to kind of fill gaps. So I've, we've got nothing on Lightning Collection at the moment. So I've now gone down the Super 7 hole, which is getting a little bit deeper. So it's, I probably will. Depends on what they do with them. Whether they're going to end up hanging on a peg, I don't know.
So are you, because obviously your name's Lightning Collector, so is your whole collection mainly Hasbro Lightning Collection, or is it Power Rangers?
It was to start with. Now it just seems to be bits of anything and everything. So I'm trying to finish off Pop Collection at the moment. I've just started getting some of the Ultimates from Super 7. I try and look at some bit like vintage stuff, but it has to be immaculate in the packaging for me to want it. If it's not, then I just won't buy it.
Yeah.
So it's it just depends on what it is, to be honest.
That's cool. That's cool. I got my Power Ranger story. I'm a big Power Ranger fan. Grew up watching it. Absolutely loved it. I think it's that. It's. Oh, Sorrell's noticed something.
Is there something spinning at the side of your head? There's something on a spinning wheel. Have you got something on a spinning wheel? Right. My eyes were going proper mentally. I could just see something going round.
It's a PCS factory, so it's just one of these
okay.
sitting
cool.
on a
very
turntable.
cool.
But it's it just makes it look like it's doing something a little bit more. But when I first put it up there, I was constantly feeling like something was falling over. So I was constantly going like this. And now I can ignore it. But
my
No,
local
that's
comic
very
book
cool.
store the other day had the Super Sevens. He had the Yellow Ranger, Green Ranger, and Goldar and the Putty, all for on 2 for 40. 20 quid a
what, the
piece.
Ultimates?
Yeah. Super 7 Ultimates.
Oh, God.
Because I picked up the final two, because I collect the Disney Super 7 Ultimates.
Yeah.
So I picked up the two Fantasia ones that I were missing, the big hippo and the alligator, and then I saw them and I was like, I said to him, I go, surely Green Ranger's not on that offer. And he went, yeah, it is. I'm like, and he had Goldar as well, and I was like, ooh, very tempted to get Green Ranger and Goldar for 40 quid, 20 quid a piece.
That's
I
pretty
originally
cool.
wasn't going to buy them, to be honest, because I bought the Green Ranger for the sake of that Green Ranger shelf. And I pulled the hand out and it just snapped off. And I barely tugged it. And it put me off for a long time. And it was only that I picked up the yellow one for a good price, or what I thought was a good price, but not compared to that. And I thought, well, I need to get the rest because I want the bulking skull as well. So I need to scale.
It's weird though, because Super 7 have recently cancelled a lot of orders to comic book stores. So apparently they've completely dropped all of the future Disney ones now. They're no longer available to pre-order. And apparently the Night Before Christmas ones as well. Apparently they're not happening now, supposedly.
They did something with the Power Rangers a little while ago. They binned off one or two of the particular wave, which isn't coming now. So it's just
weird, isn't it?
I don't know whether it's down to like pre-orders or something else that they're just kind of going, we're not getting the pre-orders. I don't know.
Yeah. My like I was about to say, my origin story with Power Rangers. Like, I love Power Rangers as a kid. I grew up watching it. I've still got like a proper guilty pleasure for it. And when Lightning Collection came out, I jumped in really hard and I literally was picking up everything that was coming out. And then I was a big Marvel Legends collector at the time, so then I kind of scaled back and all the rest of it. But my wife's a childminder, and occasionally we get like toys and stuff from like her house and all that kind of stuff. And my mother-in-law brought this box of figures round, and it was all like 90s Power Ranger figures in immaculate collection condition.
Oh, nice.
And they were the head spinner ones. Remember those ones, like the little 6-inch head spinners?
Yeah, I've got one here.
Oh, yeah. Right. So she had green, she had yellow, she had blue, black, pink. Like they were all immaculate, and I was like, these are going straight in my collection. Okay. My missus was like, no, they've been donated to the kids. I was like, no. 6 months later, I found Green Ranger in the garden, like head down. I was like,
oh no.
So they are the only Power Rangers I've got in my collection. I went back and picked up all the glittery ones.
Oh yeah, metallic.
I've got all the metallic ones, just because they were cool. So I had them all, but I couldn't get pink for ages, for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then
she didn't get a release here.
I got her.
eBay.
Yeah. So I said to Sorrell, the thing that annoyed me was that all the others are shown with the masked head and then the unmasked head, and then she's the other way around. So if I was an inbox collector, that would really frustrate me. Like really frustrate me that one of them had their hat off, helmet off.
The hat off.
I'd have to swap it. It would bug me.
Yeah, really annoyed me. But yeah, so I'll be opening them up, and then I got myself the little collection of power coins.
Oh yeah, 15 on Zavi, was it?
Yeah. Well, we got
really
a
good.
good relationship with Zavi. We got a good relationship with Zavi, so I decided to pick those up. And I got like coin stands. So I'm going to do a little Power Ranger display. I'm going to set that up.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's all good. I also as well found in the box of things that I've got to unbox. I've got the Yellow Ranger from the new. What was the new line that they released? Like in the bigger boxes with the effect piece. What were they called?
Oh, there was re-releases, but I can't remember the name of them. They gave them a stupid name, didn't they?
They had a weird title to it, but I had the Yellow Ranger. When they first announced them, I got the Yellow Ranger, and she's just sitting in my... But it means that I've got an unmasked like Trini head, which is cool. So I'm happy with that. But I'll get to...
I think they're just called remastered, aren't they? They're just remastered collection.
Remastered might be it. Yeah.
The ones with the new boxes, like the...
the fancy big boxes.
Yeah. I think you can see them above my head.
It was the annoying line where Hasbro gave us the Green Ranger with the gold bands, but yet no green shield,
Shield,
and they
yeah.
gave it to the
Yeah.
Red Ranger.
Yeah, and he didn't get a
Make
head
you buy
either.
both.
So you have
And
to buy, if you want the head, you need to buy like an extra red. So
Yeah.
you have to get the old red just to put a head on him.
That was down to licensing, wasn't it, or something? Or like not licensing. Like, hadn't he done something that?
Yeah, man.
had
So they were
those-
trying to like keep away from him, weren't they, for a while?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know whether that was the reason, but I think that seems to be when they kind of stepped away from him a little bit. He had a bit of legal trouble, didn't he? So
Oh, sorry.
I've got to
Billy
admit, I
Winston
was, sorry.
said they're the remastered series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fine with the Lightning Collection. I was kind of on board with them until they did that. Until they did the Cobra Kai crossover and the Street Fighter crossovers, and I was like really excited for those. I thought this is something a bit different, something a bit cool, something a bit crossovery, like cool. And then the figures were so naff and they broke so easily.
they're all like that now.
Because I waited so long to get that Miguel, and the fact that he can't stand probably that falling over, and then I got the Chun-Li one and the head. They didn't come with the like any unmasked heads. They weren't really Street Fighter figures then, because you kind of want the unmasked head, and they were just they're just all annoyed.
People were saying that out of the Street Fighter, out of the Cobra Kai, that the Johnny was probably one of the better ones, but I thought his head sculpt's awful.
The head sculpt's awful, but it's one of the better figures.
Yeah, the fact that he's got like no sleeves is good, but the head sculpt I thought was horrible. I don't know how. Like it looks more like Mr. Bean with blonde hair, but
It's just a really random crossover. That's all I found.
there was no reason behind it.
It's like the Turtles and the Stranger Things crossover, though. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get mashing two things together that don't really make sense.
That had no real crossover, other than the fact that in the 4th season they had pizza. That was basically the only way I could ever put 2 and 2 together, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the one thing with the Lightning Collection, the only figures that I want to get now are the Tengu Warrior 2-pack and then a single Tengu Warrior. So I've got the purple and the green Warriors.
Yeah.
And I kind of want just them now, just to go with all my monsters and stuff, and I'll just kind of leave the rest. But is it the Omega Rangers? They look pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on that. They got pushed back to March. So they were from the comics, and they were due 15th of this month, and they've been pushed back. I think it was March 15th, but we'll see if it just keeps getting pushed back and back. But loads of stuff's being cancelled, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get it, to be honest.
Yeah. They were kind of the only ones that I kind of looked at recently and thought, I might jump back on and grab those ones, because they're like comic book ones, and I like the comic book sort of related stuff in the Lightning Collection.
Yeah, if you read the comics, the Omegas are nice. They're good. The same with the Turtles. Like the Turtle crossover made sense because of the comics, so it kind of understand why they were giving us those as opposed to like Cobra Kai.
I just didn't. I was just upset that they didn't continue with Shattered Grid and give us, like some of the other ones, because obviously they could have done the Mastodon quite easily. The Mastodon soldiers. They could have done them very easily as a builder pack as well. They could have put 2 or 3 in there and put them as a little army builder.
Yeah. That would have been worked. Another one from Billy. Billy said, "I double dog dare you to open a Lightning Collection figure live." Isn't it? Oh, yeah. Well, she's just pink. They're just a standard pink. Oh.
No, so that was a cell shaded edition.
Oh, nice.
And she was the only one that came with it. The only reason I haven't opened it is because she's just got nowhere to go. She's completely solo on her own. They didn't carry it on. I wouldn't even know where to put her, so I'll just keep her in the box.
And a protective case.
Well, yeah, it's only because I had it spare. I thought, well, that'll do. But she's you can pick her up for like.
I don't mind. I'll fucking go. I don't care. Look, here we go.
You've gone for the White
Ranger. My favourite.
The Rocky Otter. What annoys me about LC is that you're going to end up with only half semi-completed teams. I've been collecting Marvel for years, dude. I'm used to that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I've got several teams in my collection that are just not completed thanks to Marvel.
This piece annoys me. Right? The little crystals. Because they don't all go together. It doesn't complete.
No.
They've not all got them. So I'm not quite sure. I need to get them all out. But yeah, it's cool.
But they do glow in the dark.
Do they?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Do you think the metallic ones?
Oh yeah. They still don't do. They glow in the dark. There you go. That's why unboxing it live. I would never have picked that up. I'd never have picked that up. I must admit though, like I'm quite pleased with these as a. This is where I break it now, like live on air. But I'm really pleased with these as my Power Ranger kind of representation in my collection because I quite like the metallic finish, like the little glittery plastic. I think it's quite cool. Like you can't really. Can you see that on the screen? Can't really see it, can you? But they're cool. You met any of the Power Rangers?
We went to Comic Con in Liverpool.
Cool.
October, I think it was, where we met Amy Jo.
Oh, nice.
I heard a lot of negative stuff about her, to be honest, but she was pleasant enough. She was nice enough.
Yeah.
Good experience. So yeah, it was my first Comic Con. So that was cool.
Nice.
You know when you hear those comments like, "Oh, she went very nice." You know they're the people that tried to do something weird. You're like, what did you do to her, mate?
I had the chance to meet Rocky. He was at a local comic book store, but it was just coming out of the COVID time. And my friend Ryan, who used to come on the show, he went with our friend John, and I kind of just sold my ticket on or cancelled my ticket. I can't remember. But I met Jason David Frank at MCM. Which was cool. It was a really awkward experience though, like because like not with him, he was really cool, like, and it was weird because it was like seeing a childhood kind of hero, but I'm the same size as him. It was really odd. But he was dressed like proper sharp. He was great with the fans. Like he was really like gave you that time, even though it was very limited. And he was dressed really sharp in a suit and like had his hair all done nice and short and everything like that. And I was queuing up in the queue, and I had loads of other stuff to do at MCM as well at the time. And my kids had actually bought me the meet and greet as like a present. I think it's for my birthday or something like that. It's not something I would have done normally. And so I'm queuing up to wait my turn, and I kind of look in front of me, and there's a guy probably about 10 years older than me, dressed as the Green Ranger. I look behind me, there's another guy that was wearing a White Ranger outfit that wasn't the most flattering. Let's just put it that way. And I just thought, wow, like I'd never thought about that part of the kind of the meet and greets where you get like mega passionate fans that come dressed as like you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went in and I was like, I didn't really know what to do. I was like, hi, mate. I
felt awkward. I was like, oh, what do I say?
Shook it. Well, I would have asked her to marry me, but if it was no. But no, and I shook his hand, and then we kind of both went like this, and then took a photo, and that was it. And it was like, oh, cool.
I was like that when I met Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. You know, Jay Muse. I met him at London Comic Con, and I was just like, you know, when you expected him to just start going, "Hey, mother," and just start swearing at you and be Jay, and it wasn't. It was just the most subdued man on the planet. And I'm like, oh, this is weird now.
I tell you what,
to like
on a kind of like Rocket Otter. That's a really cool name, by the way. Rocket Otter. Same kind of thing. Met JDF, made you geek out. Must look like a gibbering moron, but really pleased I got to meet him. Yeah. I was looking back at it. I'm really pleased that I got that opportunity to meet him because when Stan Lee came over to London, which was back in like 2010, I think it was 2011, something like that. I can't remember. It was years and years and years ago. And I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether I was going to go, and I didn't. And I still regret it to this day. I'm like, what an annoyance. But the weirdest meet and greet I've ever had was Penn and Teller. You know, the magicians?
Yeah.
Because one of them obviously is very charismatic, and then the other one doesn't say a word. We went to see their show. My missus bought me tickets to see their show. Actually, I took Ryan as well. I go everywhere with Ryan. But I took Ryan, and we watched the show. It was phenomenal. And then as we came out, they came out as well and kind of just met all the audience. And Teller, who doesn't speak, was talking. And I was like, this is mad. Like, I've watched you for years and you've never said a word, but then you're meet and greeting fans, because obviously it's just a persona, isn't it? It's just an act that he's putting on stage. So when he was off stage, he was just being himself. And thanks very much for coming and watching the show. Like, did you enjoy it? Let's pose for a photo. Like, I'll give you a signature, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, madness. But I was totally taken back because I was expecting him to just be completely mute and not say anything and just stay in character, and he didn't. And that really threw me.
That must have been how Quinn Lord felt when I saw him at Manchester, because Quinn Lord played Sam, you know, from Trick or Treat, and the entire time he just kept repeating the phrase, "I was 8." I was 8, because I kept going like, it must be really cool working with like Anna Paquin, man. That must have been. I was 8. You forget that he was like a child on set. Like I was like proper geeking out over him.
Just having a look at the comments, just trying to catch up with some of the comments. LN Studio Clips has just said, popping in, say hi, I can't hang around. Have a great stream and I'll catch the next one. Bethany Beth said she'd love to meet the original Black Ranger. Yeah, he seemed pretty cool.
He's at a lot of conventions usually. Him and David Yost are at quite a lot of conventions together.
Yeah. Rocket Otto said that Amy Jo and David are at Aberdeen. I know, Belfast in September. Aberdeen in March and Belfast in September. They're two very different places, very different times. Like it's like don't be sending people the wrong way. Yeah. G-Boats Collects said that he's one of the folks that told Rob about a meeting with Amy Jo. Oh, that's a shame. That's the thing though, isn't it? When you do go and meet people like from films, from TV, all that kind of stuff, it is a bit of a, you're not quite sure what to expect.
That's one thing I was like, I'm gonna go to the For the Love of Wrestling event, which is in March, very beginning of March. I'm going there, and Enzo. I know I'm not sure if you're a follower of WWE these days, but there was a guy called Enzo on there for a while, and he got fired. And he was like a big, like New York Italian American. My name is Enzo Amore, and he'd like do this whole spiel every time he came in the ring. And like, I know that when I meet the guy in real life, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're doing, you're all right." and he's not gonna be like, "Hey, you over there?" It's gonna be the most subdued meeting ever. Like, yeah, that's not like what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
We met Bret Hart one year, and he was not a good experience because you just tell he was there for the money, he didn't want to be there, and it felt bitter, like being there. Like obviously,
I was like that when I went to see Sergeant Slaughter, and I wanted him to sign my G.I. Joe, and I was like really excited for Sergeant Slaughter, and he just looked at me and went, "All right, signed it, off you go." I'm like, 50 quid, please. I'm like, oh, that's depressing.
That's madness. I remember Gladiators.
Yeah.
Gladiators. They opened up like a theme park around here and went down. It was Jet and I can't even remember which guy it was. It was one of the men. And man, I'll tell you what, like 13-year-old me, I was in love. Like she gave me a kiss on the cheek, like she gave me a hug. I was like, you are living up to all expectations. This is how I want every celebrity like meet to happen from here on out.
You need to come up north more often because she's at like every convention going up north.
I don't think she'd remember me, sorry. This was a long time.
Remember you. I'm just saying she's at,
do you remember me from like 35 years ago?
You say like Dan's at every convention going. She's literally like every Newcastle con, every Teesside con, she's there.
That's awesome. That is cool. I haven't actually seen any of the Gladiators since like that. Was it?
I saw was it and I want to say it was like Trojan, I think. And he was now like an old man with a walking stick and skinny. Wow. And I'm like, that is not what I remember. Like, when they say gladiators are coming, you're like, oh yeah, gladiators. And then he walks through the door with a stick the bus past, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
He's not going to take anyone down on the rings.
My favorite ones at conventions are the ones that are kind of like what should we call them? Should we call them the mid to low tier celebrities that not a lot of people know who they are, but they're there because their whole kind of existence is that character that they played once. We went to a convention once in Ipswich, actually, funny enough, and my eldest son must have been about 9 at the time, so it's about 3 years ago. And we're walking around, and like there was this whole big sort of Star Wars diorama set up, and the guy that played Snoke, what's he called?
Yeah, Snoke.
He was there. And I was like, oh, look, over there, like that's the guy that played. Because obviously my son was kind of introduced to the newer trilogy. So I was like, oh, look, that's Snoke. And my son was like, oh, wow, like, that's really cool. And then this old boy came out of nowhere and went, hello. And I was like, hello. And he said, just focused on my son. He was like, are you a fan of Star Wars? And I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah. He went, do you know who I am? And he was like, no. He was like, I was the first ever stormtrooper on screen. And it was like, what? And he had this like picture of stormtroopers walking out, and it was just like, and he was like, this is me. The first ever stormtrooper on screen was me. And my son was like, and do you know what I mean? Like, what? And I
Mate.
just thought, like, how can you claim that as your claim to fame? And then, like, we had a bit, like, it was a nice enough bloke, and we had a bit of a chat with him and stuff. And then he left by saying to me, like, we left. He said, "Don't forget, you can tell your friends that you met the first." He didn't talk like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know why I'm trying to do impression. He was like, "You can tell your friends that you met the first ever stormtrooper." My son Josh was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, okay."
Let me read. Let me read off for you the guest list of the people that are at York Comic Con in March, right? And see if you know any of these people. Are we ready?
Go for it.
Jamie Bamber, Paul Blake, Mike Quinn, Hattie Hayridge.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, she's the only one that's probably recognizable out of all of them. Hattie Hayridge was in Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
So
she's
So she's the one that you would know from television. The rest of them, like Mike Quinn, was a character actor from Rise of Skywalker and the Muppets, apparently.
Okay.
Paul Blake was apparently in Star Wars: A New Hope as one of the stormtroopers. Probably the guy your son met, to be honest. And then Jamie Bamber, Galactica, apparently.
Yeah.
If you look at these things, you just like these are the big announcements for the Comic Con. You're like, this is atrocious.
Andy H knew it. Andy H gets a point. Jamie Bamber was in Battlestar.
Andy H has got the internet in front of him. Don't lie, Andy.
Bethany Beth says, "I want to meet Jacob's Toys." Well, if you're interested in meeting any of the gentlemen on screen, we're all going to be at Figure Collectors on the 30th of March, 2024. We are going down. We are part of the panel there. And yeah, so you can come down, you can meet us. We're all going to be there. We're going to be doing a full panel, which is going to be exciting. It's going to be a first for most of us on there, doing a full panel and talking stuff. But we will all
I'll be
there.
bringing stickers.
Oh, everyone loves a sticker. Everyone loves a sticker. Yeah. Oh, where are my stickers? Where are my stickers?
Oh, you both of your stickers. I'll be giving out crisp high fives.
I'll take one. It's fine.
Oh no, I need to find the stickers now. Good
job of mentioning it in a minute.
There are stickers.
There are, I have seen. I can confirm that I have seen said stickers.
There are stickers. They're not even my stickers. They're somewhere. I've stuck them all somewhere. Yeah. There we go.
Well, Shelley, I think me and Jacob will also probably be doing London Comic Con in the summer this year. So I'm not sure if that's any easier for you, but we will be hitting the south and north of England this year. So
yeah, we're going to go both ways. We are going to go both ways.
You say that, lad. That's from where I'm from. Telling another boy you're going both ways.
2024 is the way that the year that we go both ways.
Got two Northerners in the chat here, pal. Watch what you're saying.
Andy H said, "Were the stickers on TikTok?" All right, Andy. They are around somewhere. I've got them in my room somewhere. I was showing Sorrell the other day.
Sean just said, when's my next live unboxing going to be? I'll be going out live on Tuesday, doing a Lego. I'm going to do. I'm effectively calling it Bricks and Chill. So I'll be doing a Bricks and Chill on Tuesday. We're going to build some Legos. If you've got some Legos and you want to come along and have an ASMR adventure time with Lego, then join me at 7 p.m.
Welcome to Bricks and Chill.
Listen to the sound of the Legos clicking to the. Oh.
Do you call them Legos?
Legos, yeah. I know the Lego, but I call them Lego.
They're Lego. Come on, Sorrell. Let's not fall out now. Like,
Legos is definitely an American way, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's definitely American.
It's annoying though, because I find myself calling it Legos. Like when I'm talking to my kids, I'm like, "Can you pick up your Legos?" My wife goes, "They're what?" I'm like, your Lego. Yeah. Shelley said she's currently building the Disney 10 camper.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's the one with Disney, like Disney himself, isn't it? It's the black and white Walt Disney.
Yeah, so nice with the film bit that kind of runs down the back of it. Pretty cool. What we've been live for 40 minutes. Well, we've been live for 50 minutes, really. But people have only been watching us for 40 minutes. Let's talk toy news. Let's talk toy news.
Let's go toy news. Speaking of, because I know we were on about Turtles earlier. Let's just have a laugh at what Super 7 announced this week. Because coming to a B&M near you soon.
Yeah, you know that.
There you go. Coming to a B&M near you soon. Rapping Mikey. Or Raffy.
You know what? I could get behind this one.
No, it's Mike. It is Mike. I thought it was Mike. Yeah, it's rapping Mike. Mike takes rap battles to a whole new level by fighting the Foot Clan.
Yeah,
by laying down fat beats.
You know what? I could actually get it. I could actually get behind that one.
Why? It's atrocious.
Yeah, but they all are. All of the let's be honest, all of the turtles in other, like even like the one that you picked up, Beach Bum Mikey, like it makes no sense. But it's pretty cool.
No. But then, so they announced this whole line of new Super 7s. So I don't know how they can cancel off like the Disney lines and all this when they're releasing that lot. But each to their own. Each to their own.
That's the rap.
So Ninja Nomad Leonardo with a crash lid on his head, apparently. Rapping Mikey. The Rat King. I mean, I get that one, and I would probably buy that one. That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
But then, the random battle damaged foot soldier with alternate heads and sculpts, and then a super pack which contains a lot of weapons.
Okay, a weapons pack seems like a bit of a random one for Turtles because they do come with quite a few weapons. Yeah,
so that was Super 7's offerings of the week. But
that
isn't the only Turtles news we've had, boys, because. They are, speaking of the reissues, Playmates love a good reissue. They love to drag things from our childhood and replaster them all over. So we're going to be getting these brand new Playmates 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. So they've recently given us all those ones that Jacob's picked up and stuff. So now we're moving into the 2000s, and we got the 2003 versions of the Turtles coming back out. Yay!
You know what? I could kind of get behind that.
The more modern design, so they are more articulated than the ones you've got. You've got like the very classic ones. These ones are the ones that came with more movable parts, and
these are the really standard, like 5 points of articulation. But like these ones, even though they're the shell storage ones, these ones will kind of represent like my childhood versions, whereas those ones were kind of came out when I wasn't massively collecting figures. So I could get behind them.
Yeah.
But that do the ones you could put the heads in. You know where you'd switch like the arms around, they go into the turtle's back, and then they'd be like a little baby turtle. They would turn
into actual like turtles, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should mention those because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are bringing back, and I'm not even joking. It's funny you should mention that literally as we're going into it. That looks rehearsed as hell, doesn't it? But basically, Bebop and Rocksteady are coming back as that exact version that you're talking about. So the ones where you flip the head and
the flip one.
The Mutant Bebop is coming out along with Rocksteady. Apparently, we're getting both of them.
Ah, okay. So maybe they are not far behind. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for them to. I mean, Mutant Mayhem has definitely given Turtles kind of a new vibe, hasn't it? It's kind of given it a new lease of life. So, I think getting all these figures out is quite a good move, personally. You're just going to hit all the retro. You're going to hit all the nostalgic elements of people, and good moves.
Now, how do we feel about looking at some pop vinyls for a movie that's not out yet?
Let's do it. But the thing we do have to state is that Funko tend to give away a few spoilers.
So there is going to be a mild spoiler up on the screen showing us the villain from the new Ghostbusters movie. So look away, if you will, now if you don't want to see it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look away now. These are the brand new ones that are coming out, including a mini Stay Puft Marshmallow on a treadmill, on a little hamster wheel thing, which is the funniest thing ever. I can't wait to see that in the movie. We've got a new ghost there called Pookie, Ray Stans, and Phoebe. And then, of course, at the bottom, we've got the new ghost, and we do have a name for him now called Garaka.
And is it a he?
I don't know. It's an A to they, whatever acronym you want to use.
Okay. Pookie looks good. Is he a potato?
Pookie. He looks like a haunted potato.
I like that.
I've got a feeling that mouth is going to open up and something's going to be in there. Like, it's going to be like horrifying when he opens it. Like, it'd be like all cute when he's like that, and then all of a sudden he'll go, you know, a bit like the cat on Miss Marvel.
Yeah. It looks like they're keeping with the mini puffs as well.
Oh yeah, I seen that this week. I'm coming on to that in a second. Because the
Andy H just said Sorrell just assumed a ghost's gender, so he's now cancelled. Yeah, we don't mean.
I said if and they. I'm not saying nothing. I'm smarter than the average bear. So we've got, I don't know where that came from. Smart. So it did well for Hasbro with the mini. What do you call them? Stupid
Mini puffs.
No, they had the mini puffs, and then they made the Star Wars ones, didn't they? With like little BB-8s and little beady ones and tiny little droids and stuff. And now they're moving on to baby Ahsokas. Apparently, that's like the next wave. Whereas these guys have now moved on to the Ecto Collection, which is going to be a mini box set series just like those. We're going to get baby Slimers and baby mini puff marshmallows. Now I can only assume that's like a baby Slimer. Are they going? Is a baby Slimer in the new movie? Could this be like a mild spoiler?
I just thought we had hopefully seen the end of the baby craze. Like 2021 to 23, everything threw a baby in it to make it cute, like Jurassic Park, Star Wars, like Marvel with Baby Groot. Like everything had a baby, didn't it? And even Ghostbusters, like with the baby Stay Puffs. But Baby Slimer just doesn't make sense. This
is why I'm wondering whether Baby Slimer is going to be something from the movie, whether that's going to be something new, because it's just it seems weird why they've stylized him like that for this series without any other background. So I'm wondering whether a Baby Slimer is going to be in this film.
Yeah,
because like the thing is, Bethany, can Slimer have babies? My thoughts exactly. What I'm thinking is, I wonder if a little bit of the plasma slime has lived or something and has become its own little baby Slimer, something to that effect, and that's how they'll wing it in it. They'll put a little bit of green slime in a toaster or something, and it'll bounce around, and then baby pops out. Bing!
because Slimer wasn't in the last one, was he?
No,
we didn't. No, we didn't. We had that blue kind of. Was it blue? Like
you had that, that weird thing that could eat metal.
Yeah, that was kind of like looked like something. Because the thing is, as well, you remember, like in the actual movies, Slimer wasn't a huge character. Like he didn't do a lot in the movies, and it was mainly like the cartoon and the toys and everything that made Slimer like a kind of a household name, if you like. Because in the cartoon, he was kind of like their mascot, wasn't he? Like lived at the firehouse with them and kind of just got into loads of trouble. But in the movies, he was just one of those random ghosts that you kind of saw. So the fact that he didn't show up in the last movie, I kind of thought that was the end of Slimer. We weren't going to see him anymore. But no, baby Slimer.
Baby Slimer.
Yeah.
If in doubt, bring it back as a baby. That is what they do.
Geek Votes collects. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. Honestly, think these are just what they are, not based on a movie. If they sell well, seeing if they sell well.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Next up, Maestro Union gave us a glimpse of their next figure, which is the Immortal Legend.
That just looks like a jacked up Hellboy.
Well, I believe it's something to do with Japanese culture thing. It's a demon king, basically. Sanjoku. I can't say that word. But yeah, Sutan Doji. I'm probably ripping off that Japanese there. I'm saying that horribly. Yeah. But it's going to be a brand new 1/12 scale action figure available from Big Bad Toy Store, as always. Always Big Bad Toy Store, isn't it? For $88.99.
That's cool. I mean, the detail's nice. I mean, you can't knock it for the detail.
10 inches tall, so I mean, it's a big boy.
Yeah. That's cool.
We'll have to ask Dave to send us one from Japan.
Yeah.
He seems to get all the cool figures, like the big purple Barney and stuff.
You're not jealous, are you?
I'm not jealous of all of that big purple dinosaur, mate. I've not mentioned it more than 3 times in the last hour. Right, next one. So, my favourite announcement of the week was that we're getting a Vampira figure doll thing. Basically, she's going to be a 12-inch. They're calling it a posable statue, but it's like a doll. and there's gonna be a black and white variant. This variant, she comes with the couch and everything, which is awesome. But that couch isn't her couch; that's Elvira's couch. So I can only presume they're gonna reuse that same doll, give it a plastic makeover in a certain area, and stick a new head on it, and re-release it as Elvira in a year's time.
Yeah. Does it come with like the candelabra behind it?
Yep, comes with everything you see in that picture.
And the window as well?
Yep, comes with a lovely little diorama piece. The windows are part of the box art. It does look pretty cool on there, but yeah. But it comes with the candelabra, it comes with the big couch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like 400 quid. I was getting really excited, and then I saw the price and went, no.
It's not 400 quid cool. Like that.
No, it's like they're basically going for like hot toys value, but probably a bit more than some hot toys, I think, that in it.
Yeah, that's a little bit more. Like, yeah. And a £400 Hot Toys figure, like, is a decent figure. Like, that doesn't look.
I know.
What was the scale?
She's a 12-inch, doll sized.
Okay. Still though, 400 quid's a lot for that.
I know that was like I remember seeing it like I went through a range of emotions. I was kind of like, ooh, Vampira, and then no, £400 maybe. No. Can't afford you, Vampira.
No, that's not good.
I can only presume that we're going to be getting a NECA release of her very soon, because Super 7 are doing one. This other company are doing a 12-inch one. So I can only presume NECA's going to get the 7-inch license, just like they did with Vincent Price. So I can only assume it's going to be part of that line. But yeah, that was it, basically. That was kind of all the news. The only other announcement that's kind of toy but movie related was that Todd McFarlane basically told us we will be getting a Spawn movie, even if he has to crowdfund it and ram it down his throat. He will be making a Spawn movie, apparently.
Did you ever see the first one?
Yeah. Did I see the first Spawn movie?
I didn't hate it.
No, it was amazing. As a kid in the 90s, that was amazing. It was John Leguizamo as a clown. What is not to like about that?
Yeah. I didn't hate it at all. I was
Spawny, he's a man. If he can do it, no one can.
Yeah. I quite liked it.
I loved that movie growing up. It was one of my favorites.
400 quid's only 680 Canadian dollars. Totally reasonable. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. That's an interesting move. I'm not surprised though. I mean, Todd McFarlane's he's on fire at the moment. Let's be honest. He's gonna get as much out as he can. Yeah. And can you imagine the amount of merchandise that will come with that Spawn film? Oh, like, there will be Spawn coming out of your ears, like everywhere.
There'll be brand new comic books, action figures, movies, page punches, statues. There will be everything.
It will literally be.
Toddy Mac will milk that bad boy for all it's worth.
Yeah, 100%.
That is officially his new nickname, by the way. Toddy Mac.
Toddy Mac.
I can tell I've had half a bottle of wine before coming on this evening. I'm not going to lie. I'm talking like 10 to dozen. Starry-eyed soul.
It's always been live for like the last 2 hours, but it's just like...
Can we sorry, going off a tangent again. Can we talk about my favorite announcement of the week, though?
Of course we can.
So Steamboat Willie fell into which is the Disney movie, don't make it rude, chat. Mickey Mouse has fallen into the public domain this week.
Yes.
And a slew of horror movie companies came out and went, we're gonna change this bad boy up. And there's about 3 films been announced in about 2 days. Mm-hmm. But the one that's got legs is the one that they're calling SS Steamboat, the movie. And apparently it's a part of the universe that Winnie the Pooh's set in, and they're going to definitely cross over. So in the near future, you're going to get Steamboat Willie versus Blood and Honey Winnie the Pooh. Am I the only one that's slightly excited about this?
That could be quite interesting. That could be quite fun to watch.
Sorry, Christopher Robin. Come here, you big berry bird.
I was reading some articles on this because a lot of people seem to kind of be confused over what had fallen into the public domain and what hadn't, because there was a lot of misleading articles saying that, Mickey Mouse or the mouse is now in the public domain, X, Y, and Z and all the rest of it. But it isn't. It's not the Mickey Mouse that you associate with everything Disney. It is that original Steamboat Willie, like, no gloves, black and white. I don't think he's even got shoes on, has he? He's just like
he's got the shoes on. He's got no gloves on. He's got the shoes. He's the Steamboat captain, but he doesn't talk in that one because it's the old style silly symphonies. So it was before Walt Disney put a voice to it.
Yeah.
So he makes noise, like still does like a little noise, but he doesn't really talk or anything. Yeah, he whistles and
And
Disney are more Disney are more annoyed that they've lost that song.
Yeah.
Disney are more annoyed that they've lost that little stupid song they use. But in these movies, he can't come out with the voice that we're using. They can't make a film with him going, "Come here, you big man," like I want to do. They can't do that because that's just straight up Mickey Mouse from modern day, and they'll just get sued to buggery for it.
Yeah.
So it is
And that's
literally
quite
just
exciting. Is that they could give him a new voice, like they could give him the voice they want, like. But yeah, it's. I don't think it's really a big deal. I don't think it's it's not.
no. There's
thing.
Have you seen what other things are falling into the public domain very soon?
Go on, enlighten us.
So within the next few years, we're going to be it's like Dracula's already fallen into the public domain now. We're going to be getting Frankenstein in the coming years.
Cool.
Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck. There's a lot of characters that are very quickly going to fall into the public domain that are very high profile characters.
Not the actual Donald Duck.
Well, yeah, the first ever appearance of Donald Duck. So it's not Donald Duck as he appears now. It's that very skinny looking version of Donald Duck, and he was quite violent, I think, in the old school days. He was like Mickey's little nemesis for a while, wasn't he? And then they sort of became friends.
Yeah. Having a look. I'm just having a look at the comments.
I think it would be more. Yeah, Shelley's saying he doesn't talk, and he doesn't. So I'm wondering whether they keep him mute, and that'd be more than just having him do the Mickey Mouse walk with a great big machete in his hand.
Or just how like creepy would it be
whistles.
if he just whistles that tune, walking around? You imagine him dragging like a sledgehammer, like that metal on concrete kind of noise, echoey kind of like factory corridor with that whistle, like pulling the hammer along. Mate, that's a horror franchise I could actually get behind. I'm not gonna lie. But the funny thing is that, like, with him, even though he's an older character and he's not like the Mickey Mouse that we know, because Disney have used him at the beginning of every single film for 10 years maybe now.
Yeah,
like everyone's familiar with that tune, that look, like, and even if they don't know what he originates from, there'll be people that will go, oh, that's the Mickey Mouse from the beginning of Frozen, or that's the Mickey Mouse from the beginning of Encanto. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so they are going to associate it with Disney.
Oh, mate, they need to wait another year because entering the public domain in 2025 is the spinach eating sailor, Popeye. Popeye versus Steamboat Mickey is a movie I want to see badly.
Wow. What, actual just Popeye?
Popeye. The spinach eating sailor will be entering the public domain on 17th of January 2025. So this time next year.
So can enlighten people if you know this and I don't, but something falls into public domain. Yeah. Like Steamboat Willie falls into the public domain. Do Disney have the opportunity to take it back and pull it back?
No. After 100 years, after 100, I think it's 100 and something, it's 120 years, everything falls into the public domain for reuse. It's how we keep stories going. It's like Snow White was originally, the copyright would have been held elsewhere, and then in 1932, Disney picked up the copyright and ran with it. But other people can make Snow White, but they're not allowed to make it the way Disney made it. As long as you reimagine it, and as long as you remake it, like The Mummy, Universal have kept making Mummy movies so that they didn't lose the licensing for it, because they didn't want anyone else to be able to remake The Mummy like the Brendan Fraser style one. They didn't want anyone else to like beat them. Yeah. So that's why every so often you'll see these really crap movies come out, and it's because they need to keep the copyright, like Superman. Superman's one that they've used in films over the years just to keep copyrights, even though the films have been diabolical. They just want to keep a copyright.
Well,
but like King Kong,
diabolical. Don't come at my S man. Like, it's like, I quite enjoyed every single one of them.
So like King Kong will fall into the public domain in 2029, regardless of what Universal do, because it's been that long now. It's been 120 years, so it will fall into public domain in 2029. As long they couldn't basically remake the movie that Universal made, because that's plagiarism and copyright. They have to reimagine it, so they have to take the original text and make a new movie.
But King Kong is just a massive gorilla. Like, it's not.
Well, that's like
Look
what Disney made Mighty Joe Young, which is essentially a King Kong movie, but just they didn't call him Kong, did they? They call him Mighty Joe. It's like it's the same thing. That's how they get away with it. You change the names, you change the locations.
Making the sign language. Was he the one that's no, it's Congo that did the sign
Congo
language?
sign language.
I love that film. I'm not going to lie, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's an interesting one though. Well, the thing that the thing that this article picked up on though was that because that Steamboat Willie is now in the public domain, like you could essentially put that image on a T-shirt and not get sued, and that's as long as you
No.
changed it. As long as you changed it,
As long as you change it, yes.
But if you just took a screen grab off of the beginning of a Disney film and put that on a T-shirt, then you're going to get sued because that's the thing. But you could essentially take that character, and as long as you kind of reimagine it a little bit, kind of produce your own merchandise.
Yeah, completely fine. Basically, you wouldn't be able to get Mickey Mouse's old shorts and re-upload them to a YouTube channel and expect nothing to happen from you and the big mouse not come get you. You've got to edit it or do something that is artistic. You've got to do something artistic with it for it to be classed as something new.
Yeah. So no,
it's a very grey area of the law, though. It's a very grey area. But what it basically means is for people that want to make a quick buck are always going to make a quick buck. There's always them companies out there like that make dodgy movies that resemble the ones that are in the cinemas. You know what I mean? They try to beat them to it. Like when The Mummy's coming out, you'll always find something in Asda called The Mummy Revenge.
The daddy.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, the daddy.
My favorite one was that when Happy Feet came out. Do you remember that about the dancing?
Yeah.
And I was in HMV with my little one, and there was one called Tappy Feet, and it was essentially a tap dancing penguin. And I was like, have they just hit the nail on the head better than the original film? Like, Tappy Feet, yeah. But there we go. Bethany said, just put Jacob's face on Mickey. No one's going to be buying that. Let's be honest. Come on, Bethany. Let's keep the idea sensible. Like nobody's gonna. Or do you mean for the horror film? That's. Oh, okay. G-Boats Collects said yes and no. A guy uploaded Steamboat Willie in its entirety to YouTube on the 1st of Jan. It's still up with tons of views, and Disney can't do anything.
I bet they can. I bet Disney lawyers could. You're telling me the mouse can't get that going if he wants to? It's just because they've not hit enough views that Disney's like, yeah, you're not making any money out of that. No, I couldn't. That's a fly in the ointment. All they've got to do is sell like 10 ice creams at Disney tomorrow morning to make that back.
Let one person in the park and
one person in the park has uploaded that. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's Disney's lawyers have done a lot worse for a lot less. Let's be honest.
I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of Disney. You just wouldn't, would you? I just wouldn't want to do anything that would put you on the wrong side.
You've seen South Park, haven't you? I've told you for the last time. Where's your purity ring?
Dear. Talking about movies and bringing it into like Power Rangers as well, because obviously we've got Lightning Collector with us.
Yeah,
what did you make of the? What did you make of the redo? Is that what we called it? The
anniversary show, the anniversary episode.
No. I'm going back further.
2017 movie.
Yeah, with Billy.
I liked it.
Things. I liked it as well. Yeah, I'm one of the few people I know that actually was like, you know what, quite liked it.
It was good. Like I love an origin story. So when they had Spider-Man and there was no origin story, I know he'd already been done like 2 or 3 times or whatever before, but to me, I'm just like, what are you doing? So I have to see like what's going on first. So for me, that was good. I enjoyed it. I think they lost a lot of potential where there was too little at the end. So it was like too little of them actually being Power Rangers and not like sort of being kids to come up to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there wasn't quite enough Power Ranger-ish sort of stuff in there because it was.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. But I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, because as a kid, when I was watching the Power Ranger shows, I enjoyed the teenage bits, but it was more about when they were in the costume fighting the bad guys. And with this film, they didn't do that. So the newer kind of market, they didn't tap into because people were like, well, I don't want to watch like Riverdale for an hour and a half with like 5 minutes of, and that's what it was. I was just more annoyed at the fact that they kind of teased the Green Ranger at the end and then there was no revamp, and I was like, oh man.
And that's another thing as well. They had potential there that they've put all these bits in to lead it the right way, but obviously just didn't make enough money, did they, or whatever they wanted to do. But it was a shame because I reckon if they'd have just swallowed it and went with another one, it probably could have potentially have been a lot better. But
I think if they would have made the movie, but then not like just change the writing slightly so that they're not playing Billy and Trini and Kimberly and call them something else. Still have them as the Power Rangers and call the villain something else, and don't have it be Billy Cranston playing Zordon. Have completely new characters. Stop trying to link it to the past. Make something new and just use the Power Rangers as the thing to go. Like it's the Power Rangers. It's the morphing grid and it suits. That's all you need to do, really. They could have done anything then, and people would have accepted it. The fact that you're messing with people's memories, nostalgia, and love for it, that's when you get the wrath of the fanboys. You know what I mean?
And that kind of works as well, because obviously the idea is that there's new Power Rangers every however many years or whatever. So it would have just it would have made sense. But that's talk about Lightning Collection. We've mentioned this quite a few times, that we're really frustrated that they've not done like an official movie line of the Power Rangers yet, from like the 90s movies and even the 2017 movie. Like if they did the movie figures in the Lightning Collection, I'd be all over it.
I think if we'd have been able to have hung on there till 2025, you would have been at the anniversary of it. I reckon we'd have been all right, and I reckon we would have got it. But the fact that we're now at the point that we are, or they are with it, that it's kind of come to a bit of a stalemate. You just don't know, do you? But if they could have just keep pushing through this year, I reckon that would have made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
Everything on sale is non-MMPR, isn't it? So everything that they sell that sells well is MMPR based, and no matter how many people sit there and say they're just shoving it down a throat, well, of course they will. It sells.
What if they are resting the line for now, for this year? Rest it for this year, give us nothing, get everybody hungry for it again, and then because then they're going to basically redo all the Power Rangers in the movie ones for the anniversary year, and that would be able to like start releasing that information like Q4 this year, and then get us all hyped for the anniversary. And they could still do that and keep us dry now and then build it up at the end of the year.
So there's nothing to say that it's been stopped completely, but it's just the way that they are going with it. So they one of the people there that does their panels on YouTube and stuff, I can't remember who it was, but she said at SDCC that it would just be that we would have nothing through 2024, so that would be their year's break. But it's just whether it's actually going to be a break or whether it's just going to be, they're never going to go, sorry, we're not going to make these anymore. They'll just stop making it, won't they? So whether they're kind of going to get to there. And
they haven't touched the HasLab either. That's what really surprised me, because they haven't had a Power Ranger HasLab, have they?
Well, their plan for the HasLab apparently was supposed to be the bow and the axe. So you would have different tiers, and it would come with potentially, like, this is all hearsay, obviously, so don't take my word for it, but it was potentially going to come with a full-size lightning effect piece that you could have onto the axe. So the one that you get in your metallics that just sort of pokes on the end? It's supposed to come with something similar to that.
Wow.
Possibility that we'll still get it. And that so one of the retailers online had a meeting with Hasbro that they do regularly, and they'd confirmed that they were built to join. So the bow and the axe were potentially going to come as HasLab. So obviously you can imagine the cost of that, considering the sword originally at retail was like 230 quid or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But obviously we're still missing like helmets and morphers and stuff like that. So yellow helmet was meant to be next. We still haven't had that. But whether they take this year to sort out any issues, like, they were going to redo the packaging because they announced that they were stepping away from the plastic free and go back to the plastic, weren't they? So it's whether they're trying to sort all that stuff out, ready for the year after, and say, look, we've got HasLab here, we've got like movie figures and all this stuff that's going to make them a load of money, or whether they're just going to knock it on the head and start licensing it out more. I don't know.
When does the TV series come back?
The most recent one was the last one. So they're...
okay.
That's finished. They're not using any more Sentai footage or anything like that anymore. It's going to be... Apparently they've got a deal coming with Netflix that they're going to reimagine from the start. What that's going to be like, no one knows. No idea. So...
I think so if they went back and redid Mighty Morphin Power Rangers kept it true to what it was, but just kind of modernized it and gave it a new crew, like a new cast.
That's
I think it's got
my
legs.
heart.
Not for
It's
us,
a
not
lot
not
of-
necessarily for us, but I think for like a new audience, like because I try to sit and watch Power Rangers with my kids because I'm like it's something I loved when I was a kid. Like I'd still sit there and watch it, but they lose interest because it's not it's not what they're used to. You know, it looks
Because it's
out of date.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous and over the top. The eye, every time they move an eye, it goes.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that the kids nowadays it's all like different. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I was just always really
And the,
shocked.
and the fact that all you need to do is flick Jason David Frank and he goes, oh, in the like most dramatic fashion ever with a big static boom on his chest. I love
But
it.
Can you imagine they start again? You know, they're using Netflix as like a platform for starting again, and then they're gonna imagine if they're gonna base that off of the comics. You're gonna bring in new people, have all the old people. The comics are mad anyway.
Yeah.
It would just interest everybody. Like it's got so much potential there. It's whether they're gonna put the effort and the money behind it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so,
But that would have been good.
I've said for years an animated series in the style of like Rebels or Clone Wars, but as Power Rangers, using the well, you can't, I know Jason David Frank's gone now, but I mean back in the day, I was saying they could use the original actors as the voice cast,
Yeah.
and then do some of the comic book things like Shattered Grid, but do it as a cartoon.
Yeah.
well, apparently there was a cartoon, like an anime version of it coming. So there's not really been any more development that I've heard from that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of stuck at the they're working on a deal with Netflix to do this. Okay.
I think it's as well for a little while Hasbro were focusing on their entertainment division, which has now gone under, hasn't it? Haven't they got rid of that now? So they were like they bought Saban to do a lot of stuff with Power Rangers. They had Transformers and GI Joe meant to be crossing over, and then all of a sudden their entertainment industry just went dead. They've not really spoke about any future projects.
The part of the E1 also brought in Peppa Pig. Let's not forget about the Peppa Pig crossover potentials. Peppa Pig on the Power Morphers. But no, the thing is,
Go Power Piggy.
mate, that is a crossover that we're waiting to happen. But
This is Mummy Pig.
it'd be Pepper and all her mates. Let's be honest. Like you'd have all the other characters the same size. But no,
Madame Gazelle as Rita.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She is a vampire. I'm just saying. When I went down to MCM and spoke to the Hasbro guys, like, I've always hoped that there was a Power Rangers representative to get an interview with them because I've done the Marvel, Star Wars, Transformers, like all the regular ones, because I just wanted to pick their brains about a HasLab because there's so much potential because it's one of these ones where they've got huge things like the Megazord, you know, like just that as a standalone thing, it fits in the HasLab kind of funnel. You know, the whole point. You look at the Marvel HasLabs. You look at things like the Sentinel, like Galactus, like that kind of size and articulation, but as the Megazord or the Dragonzord or something like that, and to actually give fans a almost to scale version of that ties in with your Lightning collection branding and figures and stuff, like it would be phenomenal.
They did try and do something similar. I don't know if you can see it behind me. It's this. Can you
This
see?
one, yeah.
So they started doing all these like Zord Ascension projects, what they called it, and they were bringing out that they would be a certain scale. So they came with little figures that were like tiny, and they were meant to be true to size. So if you open up the head, you can see them sitting inside.
Yeah.
So they gave us that one. It was the Astro Megazord from In Space, and then I don't think you can see it at the top, but there's a Megazord up there in the corner there.
Yeah, we see it.
So they've done them, and the Dragonzord as well. The White Tiger was meant to have been next, and then they just again White Tiger was leaked, and then nothing more. So it's kind of the photo that was leaked was of it being shown at a presentation. And then again, that was nothing gone. But the articulation on them are pretty good. They all transform properly. So this one, the articulation's all right. It's not as good as the others, but it's turns into a round ship like you can imagine with like a transformer. So they are good.
They've even got the potential molds and everything there anyway. They just have to upscale them. Like it would be.
Yeah.
It just seems like a no-brainer because the same as like the Proton Pack that they made for the Ghostbuster fans, like. If you asked me whether that would be a successful HasLab project, I would say straight away, like, yeah, because every Ghostbuster fan is going to want to own a Proton Pack. But surely the same would go for Power Rangers. Like even I would be kind of tempted to jump in on a massive 2-foot Megazord that
Oh yeah.
can you imagine if you could take it apart and like transfer? They've got the potential. They've got Transformers. They could literally make it like back in the day, like the original ones that we got in like Toys R Us and stuff.
Yeah, well, they've done it with this one. You can transform it and you can combine it with the Dragon Zord that's sitting here. It's just they've just got to upscale it, but
I think it's such a missed opportunity. And like even G-Boats in collection, G-Boat collects, I'm picking on them tonight, but would have loved the HasLab Command Center. Again, I just think HasLab is missing a trick when it comes to play sets. Like when I spoke to Ryan Ting, I said about play sets, like on the Marvel side of it, and I was just kind of like, surely that's a HasLab potential. Like, we've done big figures, we've done vehicles. Like, let's try a play set, because most people that collect figures want something to have them in. You know what I mean? They want to display them somehow, and you could get somebody that they might only have 6 Power Ranger figures, but they would get on board with a command center, because it would then give them a display space. And yeah, I just think for all of the brands to do kind of play sets like iconic locations would be a no-brainer as a HasLab. But
they usually do half of it already, haven't they? So you've got like Zordon and Alpha figures, you've got all 6 of the Ranger figures, and to be bringing up them tiers in HasLab, it's easy enough to do. You've already got scaling for half of it sitting there.
Exactly.
One thing that Hasbro missed out on, in my opinion, the one thing they could have done differently that no one else has ever done, that would have set their Lightning collection different from everyone else, is the humanoid characters. Because look how quickly Super 7 were able to sell out Bulk and Skull. They sold out everywhere within seconds. You're telling me that if they released like them all as as the kids in the civies, and then they released a Jason David Frank in his he's in the karate gear, black trousers on, the green vest top with the bandana, released that as a secondary figure. Then you release, do you remember when Kimberly and Billy both turned into badasses for a day?
Yeah.
And you imagine them two as figures, like on your collection. You know what I mean?
I would buy them.
Right, we need to make our characters bad. What do they wear? They tie their jumper around their waist, and
they say the most embarrassing things, like, "Look at that nerd, Billy." Oh yeah, you're cool now. Jesus.
Oh man, like you do not know bullies like 90s bullies. Let's be honest.
And the fact that what I loved about Power Rangers is you got Bulk and Skull, which were meant to be the bullies, but they were just idiots. And every time they came on screen, you weren't scared of them because of the music they came on to, like sending the clowns, wasn't it?
It's like bullies nowadays are like something to be scared of. Like back in the day, like bullies were just like the comic relief. Like, let's be honest, they were never like, even in real life, like.
American bullies would not last 2 minutes on the streets of London. That's all I'm saying.
No, they were.
Look at this boy, mate, Stanley.
Dear, oh dear.
As we've got a Power Ranger fanatic on, I need to pick his brain about something that has been driving me mental since I was a kid. All right, when they're all inside the stupid Zord, what do you call it? I forgot the name of it. The Dragon Zord. Dragon Zord. Yeah, the Megazord. And in like you see it doing all these cool like he's got his sword and that, and then you look inside and they're all going with these little sticks, right? But yet they're making him do that apparently, and yet when they all go, okay, get him guys, and they all push forward, all they do is all of them all at once go right, and then it cuts to the. That's it. In real life, it would just go boom. But yeah, on screen is like the push forward and he goes.
Have you not seen Pacific Rim?
No.
Come on, like Pacific Rim answered those questions for us, where they like they're like connected into it, aren't they? And
they actually answer it on the 30th anniversary episode. So that hour-long thing they did on Netflix, they actually I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah,
I loved it.
Excuse me. When she can't remember her name. Min, is it? Mm-hmm. Anyway, Trini's daughter, she gets the yellow power. She goes into the Megazord with Billy at the end, doesn't she? So it's just the two of them. So she pulls out the crystal, and Billy's got his plugged in, and he's got his hand on it. And she asks what to do with it, and he said, "You'll just feel it. It will just do it." So it's like you're connecting with the crystal.
Yeah.
And
And
can
then
you,
you
and can
go.
you tell me why when they put all the weapons together and they make the really big ass weapon, right, that blows every monster away, why is it necessary for Kimberly to do that at the last moment and stand in a Y shape? All the other Rangers like, ready, fire, and suddenly she'll go, and it'll blow explosions around her.
She's
Like,
extra,
why is
isn't
that
she?
necessary?
Just
I know you
because.
can't answer these questions in general. These are just things that have annoyed me. And after half a bottle of wine, these are really interesting questions.
Yeah, but her
Shall I tell you-
character was very like that, wasn't it? Like at the beginning, if you, she was kind of like, she'd have the chewing gum in, she'd be like slapping her teeth all the time, and she was like that at the beginning, and then it wasn't until later she kind of calmed down a little bit, wasn't it? So that's probably why she's just a bit like being a bit extra.
really loved that 30th anniversary episode. I really did. Like it was a really cool kind of next episode sort of thing. There was one thing that let it down for me, like one thing, and that was when they morphed, they weren't the same size. They weren't the same shape. And I was like, you know what? For every kind of 35 to 45-year-old that watched Power Rangers growing up, if they had put the actors in the suits, the shape that they were now in their kind of like past their prime days, like I know Billy and what's his name? What's Zach's real name? I
Zach.
can't remember. Zach and Billy, like I know that they did because you saw them with their mask off, but they're both in relatively good shape still. But if they kind of put Rocky in the shape where he's a little bit bulkier, a little bit shorter than the others, like that to me would have just been like, yes, like that's like
because nobody wants to see,
isn't he? He's like that and like that.
Nobody wants to see. Oh God, can't speak. No one wants to see Rocky do a kick that's about 2 inches off the ground and puts his back out. That's why.
It would have been good to have seen it, like, and just kind of like, oh, we've really aged. And it also would have kind of added a little bit of a bit of gumph, a bit of legs to the actual fact that they were bringing in a new generation, because these guys were kind of getting a little bit past it. And I was just like, oh, like as a kid, I could I never even kind of I didn't even notice that the Yellow Ranger didn't have a skirt until I was like in my mid-20s and someone pointed it out to me. Like, you just don't see it. But as an adult watching a 30th anniversary show that was obviously aimed at the adults that watched it as a kid, I was kind of like, oh, come on, give us that. Give us, like, we've all changed. Like, why have the Power Rangers not changed? Like,
Yeah, but could you imagine me putting on a Red Ranger suit and you just see everything there?
I'd appreciate it. I'd be like, yes, he's done it.
I would do it, but
I
I'd have to have
would.
a shield to cover over the.
Yeah, if I was a Power Ranger, I would want a full body shield. I'd just have a box, like a box with a helmet at the top. Like, yeah. But yeah, Andy H has said, Jacob, people with a certain build should never wear lycra. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I wore lots of it in my younger days. That's a whole nother story.
At what age do they have back then power coins? You know what I mean? Like, I could imagine that if they did, if poor David Frank hadn't passed away, that they'd have been going back to him in a care home in like 30 years time.
Yeah.
I need your help, Jason. What, Billy?
Yeah, he'd have been up for it to the end, wouldn't he?
Are you hyped for the White Dragon film?
It looks good.
Power Ranger fan.
Yeah. I'm trying to not look at it as a Power Ranger fan. I'm trying to kind of look at it as a standalone kind of like, which is what it's meant to be anyway. And don't get me wrong, I did pre-order the figures, so I will be grabbing them.
Have to, don't you? They have to go in your collection.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it looks all right. There's a few Power Ranger actors in it as well. I think two of the other main characters, they were both from there, weren't they? So, but it's just his own way of showing what he wanted, I suppose, isn't it? But I don't think it's going to be as big in the UK as it will be out there. We'll probably find it on DVD in Tesco in like a year later. But
yeah. It's a funny one because I remember when it first came out on YouTube as the trailer, when they first put together the lost my breath there. Not tired, I just lost my breath. But yeah, when they first put out that kind of promo project thing, and there's, like you say, there's a couple of other actors from Power Rangers in it, and yeah, I just think it looks very cool. I'm going to mention the Guyver again, like not MacGyver, but the Guyver by Boosterama, the manga cartoon. Massive fan of that. Like that as a kid before Power Rangers, that was my go-to guy in a suit kicking monsters' ass. And then Power Rangers came out, I was like, okay, this is like a cool watered down version of Guyver. Because if you're not, are you familiar with the Guyver?
I'm not. No.
Oh, are you Sorrel?
I've got no idea what you're on about, bud.
Let me educate you, gents.
We're probably
right?
not that
Just
age.
do me a favor, Sorrel, right? Just so we got a visual representation, just type in Guyver, Guyver.
Right, okay.
Movie.
Oh, the movie version. Okay, movie.
Yeah, let's do the movie version. There's two movies. There was the original movie that had Mark Hamill as the lead character, and then they had a second movie called Mutronics that was like a follow-up. But the second one, Guyver Dark Hero, Mutronics was the first one with Mark Hamill, and Guyver Dark Hero, put that in your search, maybe Guyver Dark Hero. That was the follow-up one, and that was phenomenal, like for what it was. And basically it was very, very Power Ranger-esque. So it was about an alien suit, and it had this little kind of disc, and it hit on the guy's head and then went into his body, and then when he needed it, it came out and covered his whole body. And the whole premise of the show was that the Guyver was here to protect us. Here it is, to protect us. And you had these villains called Mutronics that were basically monsters living amongst us and like killing people and doing bad things, and the Guyver would kill them. But the coolest thing about the Guyver, right, is that you can see on his elbows like the big knives, like they would extend, and like he'd like cut people up with his elbows, and he could open his chest up, and like this plasma beam thing came out of it as well. But the Guyver, seriously, you need to watch it. It's a proper 80s film, but it's like an adult version of Power Rangers. And this white dragon just has so many Guyver vibes for me. Like I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm all over this. But yeah, Guyver Dark Hero, it's such an awesome
But when did that come out? Was that 80s?
I think it might have been early. I think the Mark Hamill version was 80s. I think that was late 80s, and then and then the second one was like early 90s, maybe 91, 92.
Yeah, because it looks like it came out at that same kind of era. You know, when like Power Rangers first hit, and then we had all these random like other spin-offy dodgy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they weren't, because they were all from Saban, and they were all from Japan, and we just made them bad. But yeah, like there was like loads of like random little spin-off ones. I wonder if it looks like it's from that kind of an era.
Yeah. 91 and 94. 91 for the Hamill version, 94 for Dark Hero, I believe. But it was a Japanese anime, as Northern Nomad said there. And that was a 90s thing. And I remember like I chased it down, and I'd get it like imported and stuff. And this was back in like the 90s. So importing stuff was really difficult, but importing the VHS tapes, and I could only get up to like volume 6 or something like that. And I couldn't get past that. But it's seriously, if you like Power Rangers, watch the Guyver. Like it was like the anime version of Power Rangers before Power Rangers was big. But there's just something really cool about the extendable like elbow blades that just, oh yeah, it was very cool. Very, very cool indeed. Really difficult figure to get hold of as well. Figma do a version, and that's about it. So I might have to customize one. I need a Guyver in my Power Rangers display now. Just that's the crossover I need. That is the crossover I need. But yeah, no, I'm excited for White Dragon just because it has those kind of vibes. It looks a bit darker. It looks a little bit more like aimed at the adults and all the rest of it.
That Guyver looks like Superhuman Samurai had stealth armor.
Go on, put up
That's all.
You're looking at images. The bad guys were really, really funny as well.
Do you
like,
not remember Superhuman Samurai? You must remember Superhuman Samurai. Superhuman Samurai. It was like the best 90s song ever. Oh, I've got like the world's smallest picture, I think. But yeah, like that would. Yeah. Yeah. Superhuman Samurai. And he basically uploaded himself to the internet before the internet was a thing. He somehow uploaded himself on dial-up.
Yeah.
And it took seconds.
Wasn't Tim Curry like in that as well?
Yeah, Tim Curry was in that one. Yeah.
He was the villain, wasn't he?
I believe so, if I remember rightly. I remember him being in it. I don't remember much about it other than the fact that he uploaded himself to the internet and suddenly became that big monster. And he fought things that looked like rip-offs of Godzilla.
Yeah.
It was almost as bad as when, because I remember Beetleborgs, and I was massively Beetleborgs, right? And then all of a sudden, Beetleborgs showed up on Power Rangers as the bad guys. I'm like, huh? What's going on?
Shall I tell you what my favourite one was? And it came out shortly after Power Rangers. Didn't do quite as good, but was very, very 90s. VR Troopers. Yeah. VR Troopers. And there was like one of the costumes that I thought looked quite cool. I hated the one where you could see like the face sculpt and stuff. But yeah, VR Troopers. But they should just do a massive mashup like movie of all those 90s like shows and just have Power Rangers kind of leading it, and then the Power Rangers versus all of the knockoffs, like VR Troopers, Samurai, Beetleborgs, like all of them.
If you want to go back and watch something that's very 90s and is not aged well at all, you can watch it in its entirety on YouTube, by the way. Three Ninjas. Please go enjoy that.
I watched that just before Christmas. I love them films.
Please enjoy that.
Every couple of years, I will go back and watch them. Brilliant.
I never really got behind the Three Ninjas. I watched it, but it never really hit me. And they do like a sequel as well. Like
they did several sequels, one of which had Hulk Hogan in it and should never exist.
Oh, that Hulk Hogan was awful.
Hulk Hogan in most.
Mountain, wasn't it?
Three Ninjas never made sense because they made Three Ninjas, right? That was the first movie in the series. At the same time they made that, they made the second movie, which was Knuckle Up. However, in the chronological order, the sequel that's called Kick Back or something, that was like the second movie, and Knuckle Up came third in the timeline. Don't know why, but the half of the actors aren't in the second movie, and then suddenly they're back for the third movie and they're younger. It makes no sense.
No, that doesn't.
The third one's very, it's not aged well because they're helping Native Americans get their land back, so it's not really unaged well. The original ones.
If Hulk Hogan's in something as well, it's going to be bad. Let's be honest.
He's playing basically a very dodgy version of himself with like a blonde wig that falls off half the time, and he's meant to be like a Power Rangers-esque style actor that he obviously can't do it in real life. But the kids believe in him and all this crap, and he tries to like beat the bad guys and gets his ass kicked.
In a water park or something, or a theme park.
Yeah, theme park. It's like a cheap rip off of like Magic Mountain.
Yeah, it's called Mega Mountain. It was called
Mega Mountain.
High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Three Ninjas save Christmas. Three Ninjas celebrate Hanukkah. It's all different.
It was like somebody went, what's really working right now? Home Alone and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, there you have it, guys. Home Alone with ninjas.
Hear me out. What kid in Home Alone was actually a ninja? Okay, yeah. Give him some brothers and sisters and stuff. Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
But the thing is, right? Because I remember, because this is the weird part about this movie. In England, we got a different release version that was less. It was less violent because they wanted to get a PG certificate, so they cut some things out and they put dodgy sound effects, like when one of the kids kick one of the bad guys, it sort of goes boink as he like falls over, or like there's one where one of the guys walks into like a steam thing, and instead of like the screams of pain you hear in the American version, you sort of get like a little sound effect in England and like no screams. But like if you watch the American version as a kid that grew up in England, that is sinister shit right there, because the half of the songs aren't in it. They've got rid of all the little cheap cartoon sound effects. It's just three kids knocking 10 bells out of grown-ass adults with swords.
So the one on YouTube, it's extended version as well. So the one that we used to have on video, there was a lot more in that American one than the one that we had here.
Mm-hmm. You like they meet the grandfather on the ship at the end. Like in the English version, they didn't meet until the very end, did they? But apparently they met him earlier on in that one. It's weird, a very weird cut of the film.
Wow. No, I need to go on these films. I tell you what, I'll watch Three Ninjas if you watch Guyver.
All right, that's a deal.
There's a trade-off. Talking about like continuity and stuff like that, though, like the fact that with going back to Guyver, there's two Guyver films, but they don't really cross over. Like it makes sense. Like then I don't know if they're supposed to be together or whether they were supposed to be separate or something, but it just made no sense. I remember seeing the second one first and then going back and watching the first one and being like, what is this?
Does the bad guy in Guyver look at himself in a mirror and goes, God, I love being a bad guy?
I think so.
Because that's what, I mean, Power Rangers, I mean, the Three Ninjas has that for it. I just love that scene every single time. I can't not watch it. It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just going to put it this way. It's got everything that a good 90s film needs, right? So the bio boost drama is what gives the character the power of the Guyver, yeah. And there's an alien ship that has other bio booster armors on it. That's all I'm saying, right? And the bad guys are humans that mutate into almost like werewolf kind of thing, but they turn into different characters. And essentially everything like Bigfoot and werewolf and all this kind of stuff in like general kind of lore were all these mutronics where you'd seen like big creatures. So that's kind of where your mind goes. And the main bad guy is obviously one of these mutronics as well. And yeah, just it gives you, it's a good 90s payoff when you're like, oh, the bad guy's going to do this. He's done it. Now there's going to be a showdown. Like, just watch it. Honestly, it's wicked. Andy H has said this. There's an internet theory that Kevin from Home Alone grew up to be John Kramer from Saw.
I can see that.
A little while ago.
That makes a lot of sense.
We need to confirm this now. They just need to do another Saw film. Just put Joe Pesci in it. And let's play a game. When I
watched
was
the one the other day, and it was pretty good. You know.
A what?
I quite enjoyed it. Was it Saw 10?
Yeah, similar to Saw 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you believe there's been as many Saw films as there has been Fast and Furious movies now?
That's a crossover that needs to happen. The poster is now that it's literally it's the wheel of Dom's car with the Saw. Oh, it's there.
This time we play a game for family.
Yeah.
Family
game night. That's what it's called.
And then get out and go.
No, Saw versus Fast and Furious. Family game night. That is it. Man, that would be harsh. I'll tell you which one I watched though. I was actually pleasantly surprised with was Spiral. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised by that. I was expecting to kind of be a little bit like, oh, come on, let's put it to bed now. But I really enjoyed Spiral. It was
you can't speak ill of the Saw franchise at a horror convention because you will get mobbed. There's a lot of fans of that stupid little franchise.
It's one of them ones that no matter how obscure and over the top the connection seems to be, that this was the person that brushed past this person and jumped the coffee queue and therefore decided that but it makes sense. Like the writing on it is very they've covered all the loopholes. There's very little kind of room for error. Unless I've just been watching it with one eye open. But every time I'm like, okay, that's far-fetched, but you know what? That makes sense. But, yeah, I quite enjoy him.
A woman caught in front of him at a supermarket, checking it out. Let's play a game.
Yeah. But I remember seeing that first Saw film, though, and just being blown away by the concept of it and the fact that he was in the room the whole time. Like, spoilers for anyone that's not seen it 10 movies down the line, but... yeah, I was just kind of like, wow, this is cool. Someone
with animation ability, it needs to now please make a series of short cartoons where John Kramer, where something really mundane happens to him, and he puts them in a situations like you got my coffee order wrong. Let's play a game.
I went out one year on Halloween with my friends. We used to all do Halloween like quite big back in the day, and one of my friends dressed up as the puppet. And we went charity shopping the day before, and he bought like a little toddler's bike. And literally, we went from bar to bar with him on this bike, and he's like a 6-foot guy. And the police stopped us and asked him where he had got the bike from because he was walking along carrying this bike. And he went, "I'm the puppet from Saw." And they went, "What?" And he went, "Look," and sat on it. And they went, "Oh, okay, fair enough." Like they thought that he just randomly stole his bike. I'll never forget that. It's just like that they let him off when he sat on it and was like, "Okay, yeah, makes sense. Like that's fine." But yeah, it's all good. So obviously we've done the longest show tonight. We've actually managed to go over.
I had to.
We're not finished yet. Yet.
I had two more things to share. I had two more things.
It's all right. We're not finished yet. I'm just letting the people in the chat know that we are now on our kind of longer schedule. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show, so we've not kind of overrun. Like this is the kind of new, the new format that we're looking at playing with. So I think it's worked. I think it's happening. So Sorrell, come on, bring your last things in.
So I just wanted to do a couple of community shout outs for this week. AJWF,
this is where I was going, Sorrel. See, like I thought we were on the same wavelength. So
Sorry.
one of the things
I normally am when I'm sober.
no, one of the things that we're looking to put in, and we've not really done it in this particular show just because we've kind of been on a tangent. One of the things that we're looking at adding into this last half hour is community shout outs and talking about people that we see out there on the internet in regards to like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the rest of it, YouTube, obviously. And actually just giving people that are watching the show some direction to look at other people that are out there that maybe not putting themselves out on the platforms that you're looking in. So Sorrel has obviously done his homework this week. Andy H, was this discussed on TikTok? Right, Andy H, TikTok is one of those platforms, right? It's there, it's happening, right? But no, we have got a few people from TikTok coming on board at some point. But community shout outs. Sorrel's done his homework. I didn't do mine this week, so I'm going to have to just follow Sorrel. So take it away with your community shout outs.
So I do just want to say AJWF, he'll be joining us as another fellow CollectorCon panelist, and he's a big collector of WWE and TNA, WCW, all that stuff. And he got a New Year, New Haul big video going live on his channel. So please go over to his channel and give it some love. Like I say, he'll be joining us at the convention, and he's going to be joining me, hopefully, in a video going to the WrestleCon in Manchester. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I got talking to him the other day and realized he's like from what, less than an hour away from me.
Nice. Sorrel's gone on mute because he's now just coughing. Come on, we're in anticipation of your next one.
This stupid cough will not go away. And then this one did the rounds this week, and a lot of people thought it was genuinely real, but sadly it isn't. However, the glowing ghost is a Instagrammer who likes to make 3D renders of action figures he would love to see. And a lot of people like Rectangular and stuff grabbed hold of this news and kind of passed it around, and it got. No one was misleading with it. I'll put it that way. I'm just a bit as a caveat. Everyone was kind of just saying, "Look how cool this is," but a lot of people like, "Oh, is this real?" Because it looks genuine.
A lot of people have taken this as real. Like I've seen in some of the bigger Marvel Legends groups that they, you know, like you say, someone posts the pictures of it with no context, and then people kind of are sharing it from there. So you have got to be careful with what you see, especially with 3D rendering now, because for all intents and purposes, this looks like a promotional picture.
It does, especially when they've put the Marvel Legends series logo on there as well. It really does make it look official. But the figure looks genuinely decent. Yeah. But yeah, with the fact that we've had this now, as you know, it's no longer spoiler territory anymore. We're kind of a week away from it. She was a new character in the What If, and I do think give that 6 months and she'll be a real figure anyway. Yeah,
I think that she's a character that we're not going to see the end of. I think she's going to be hanging around the franchise for a while, and dare I say it, she could potentially be a really strong string to their bow going into 2024, because obviously we know the MCU hasn't had the best time in 2023, and I think if they push her more and they do more with her, they could potentially, you know, do it. But yeah, he's really cool.
The glowing ghost, I was looking through his stuff, and there's some really cool things in it. Like obviously the Disney ones caught my attention instantly. Yeah, and apparently you can actually, if you've got a 3D printer, you can actually download this file on the internet now. He's made this into a proper 3D rendered file, so you can make your own glowing ghosts, which I think is just amazing. And he's done that with quite a lot of his like 3D renders now. You can actually download the files to make them. All these are like available. So, like there's the Hatbox Ghost there as well.
That's very cool.
I would love to have that on my shelf. That's just amazing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So yeah, go give him a follow, guys, on Instagram. Really cool artist there.
Yeah.
Those are my two community shout outs this week.
Definitely. I haven't really got any prepared. Didn't do my homework. You know what I'm enjoying? That's what
I've enjoyed this entire show is watching myself on that monitor behind Lightning Collector, like 10 seconds behind. I can't lie. There's been some moments where I've been doing some nice motions and just seeing how long it takes to.
There's a lag
over there. There's a good delay.
There they are. There they are. So yeah, no, that's cool. No, but it's been a lot of fun having you on, Rob. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
For anybody in the chat, anybody watching this on repeat, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? All that kind of stuff.
I'm on Twitter at LightningC2021, Instagram Lightning Collector 2021, same on TikTok and YouTube, and the other thing that Instagram does, Threads. That's the one. So you can find me anywhere along there.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Yes, do go give Rob a follow. The other thing as well, one more time, I'll shout it out. Figure Collectors, we are all three of us are going to be there on Saturday, the 30th of March. We are doing the Collectors panel, as they're calling it. There's us three being joined by another three, one that Sorrell just mentioned. But there is going to be 6 of us all together, which is going to be quite cool. I'm really looking forward to how that's going to work. But yeah, we will all be at that con on Saturday, the 30th of March. So if you are local or you fancy taking a trip, head on over, because it will definitely be worth attending, I think. Next week, who have we got coming on next week?
You're putting me on the spot now. It's Brian.
We got Brian. Yes.
Brian Action Figure Reviews on YouTube will be joining us next week, and we've also got a Geek Week Plus episode next Saturday at 10:30 with LT House of Geekery from TikTok.
Cool.
He's a DC collector mainly, so that'll be interesting. We don't really talk DC very often on this channel. We don't really get people. We tend to have a lot of Marvel chat, but not much DC. So I'm up for that. We've not done DC in a while.
I think we talk more DC than we used to. Let's be honest. If where you're diving into it more, we do talk more DC. And we talked about Superman tonight. Let's be honest.
We did talk about Superman.
I'm going to try to get the Guyver into every single show we do now until it starts trending again and we get a new modern film. So yeah, there we go. Where is FigureCon being held? Just quickly, Sean's put in the chat there. It's can you say it properly? Because I'm not from up north, so I say it wrong.
Bolton.
Bolton.
There's no O in the word. It's just Bolton.
I call it Bolton, and it's not. It's Bolton. My in-laws are from up north, and when I said where it was, they were like, "That's not how you pronounce it." I was like, "What? It's in Bolton." Bolton. Yeah. No, Bolton.
So like, I just imagine that when Jacob turns up, he's gonna have like 3 coats on, 2 hoodies, and I'm gonna rock up in my shorts. I'm like, all right, mate.
No, don't be silly. But what is really exciting for us as well, and I will say it one more time, is it's the first time that me and Sorrell are going to be in the same room since starting the Geek Week. So 3 years now with the podcast, and we've not been asked to actually go up or down to. It's kind of like, yeah, we'll do it. We will do it. And we keep saying we'll get round to it, and we don't. But now we're both being forced to be somewhere at the same time. We're going to have to act like we're friends. So it's all good. We're going to have to pretend, aren't we? But no. Andy H. I'm just checking what people are saying. Yeah, it's all good.
You just wait till you find out that you know that when we're staying over at Bolton, you just wait till you find out that we're sharing a roommate, and we have to film the entirety of that. We're expecting 2 rooms, and we find out that it's been a bit cheap. And we've got 1 room, and it's got a double bed in it.
It'll be like a really rubbish version of like their TV shows.
Step Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to go do karate in the basement? I can't afford. What's your favorite dinosaur? Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. But no, it is exciting. It's great to chat to you, Rob, and obviously have you on board before we obviously meet up at the con. It just makes it all a little bit more familiar. And we've got pretty much everybody from that panel coming on the show at some point, so we will have a bit of a chat with everyone. And then we'll all be there together, which will be nice.
Can we just say when and if we were able to get Transformers on? I'm really scared for that one, to be honest, because like neither of us collect Transformers or know anything about Transformers. That's going to be an interesting. We wouldn't know if he's lying his ass off to us. We would have no clue.
Yeah,
he could tell us anything.
Yeah, it's going to be an awkward one. It's going to be. You have to do our research on that one. No, I've got my fan home Optimus Prime that I'm building, and I've got a couple of Transformers, but not in any way, shape, or form an expert anymore.
Yeah, they contacted me today to see if I wanted to do the Ecto 1. I got an email from them today saying, do I want to build the Ecto 1? So I'm very tempted.
Yeah. Did you say no?
No, I said anything. Yeah, I responded yet.
Yeah. I would be,
Yes.
yeah, I would quite happily do another one at the same time, but they are massive.
Yeah,
They
they
are
are.
So yeah, all good, all good. So right, there we are. That brings our new format show to a close. We are now at the end of time. Rob, once again, thank you very much for coming on board. It's been great.
Thank you.
Board. Thank you everybody that's kind of stuck with us for the entire time. We've got to as many as we can of the comments and stuff like that. If we have missed you, let us know. And as Sorrell likes to point out, if you're watching us on catch up, Sorrell, what do they need to say?
Use the hashtag #CatchUpCrew
Cool.
and let us know that they watch on repeat. It sounds stupid, but it actually helps because it's nice to know like who's watched live, and then if you've watched it on repeat, if you use the little hashtag in the comments, we can see who's like watching us after the fact, and it's kind of cool to know that, because I always thought they're just you guys in the live chat and that's it, but you don't think people are watching this back, so it's just
I always watch back because I'm never up this late. So anytime you do some of these, I always go back and watch it later on. So people
He's
are
saying
watching,
that now because he's in the room. He's like, I always watch it every week. No, we do appreciate it. But it's good. It's good to know who's watching it on repeat. And if you are watching it on repeat, obviously check the description of the video. Go give everybody a follow. It doesn't matter where you're watching, as long as you're watching. That's the main thing. So there we go. So that brings our show to an end. Episode 133. We'll be back next week with episode 134 with Brian Action Figure Collectors.
Brian Action Figure Reviews.
Action Figure Reviews. Sorry, I'm looking
Sorry,
at
Brian.
I'm looking at Figure Collectors. Sorry, Brian's Action Figure Reviews. Sorry, I'm looking at the con information here on my left, and it's throwing me. But we'll be at Brian next week, and as Sorrell said, we will be coming out again with a Geek Week Plus on Saturday night as well. So make sure you tune in. Thank you very much. Till then, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. Stay up to date at www.geekweekinreview.co.uk.